As this committee and the legislature examines foreign ownership issues in Texas, we believe it is important to move forward in a manner that will protect Texas and the grid from hostile acts, but we must do so in a way that will not disrupt the growth of the solar and storage industries. As I'm sure you all know, Texas is facing unprecedented load growth. Solar and storage are helping to meet that load growth, keep the lights on in Texas, and provide affordable power to Texans. While our membership is diverse from an ownership perspective, from private companies to publicly traded to U.S. owned to companies with foreign ownership, none of our member companies are owned by the hostile foreign nations that are of concern to the legislature. To talk a little bit about development activity, since this did come up earlier, the vast majority of solar projects in Texas are on leased lands. There are some cases where a solar project owner will own land, but that decision is driven by the landowner. That is not driven by the company. In terms of business risk, I am not aware of any companies in the TSPA membership who have experienced IP or business theft from hostile foreign actors. And in terms of our interactions with the power grid, this was mentioned earlier today, but it is important to bring up again. The Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act addresses all ownership and technical issues associated with power generation. That bill was passed in 2021. It was updated in 2023, and it ensures that ERCOT market participants do not procure equipment or services that would allow access to or control of critical grid equipment by citizens or businesses associated with the countries of concern. Further, the Act does not allow generation assets to be owned by the countries that Texas has identified as hostile. TSPA supports thoughtful efforts to protect the Texas grid, its residents and businesses. We stand ready to work with Texas policymakers to ensure we can better protect Texas while keeping the economy growing and meeting our power demand in a cost-effective manner. Thank you.
All right, Chair recognizes Chairman Wilson.
Yeah, thank you. And please don't read anything into my questions. It's really demonstrating my ignorance on the solar piece. As far as when you're looking out there, driving down Highway 71 or going through the Mason area or so forth like that, and you're seeing acres and acres of these solar panels and so forth like that, the vast majority of those components that are out there, who predominantly manufactures those components?
So if you're talking about solar panels, I don't have an exact number in front of me. I don't have that data point. We'd be happy to try to chase that down and get back to your office on that. I think it's fairly well known that a lot of the panel manufacturing activities have come from Asia historically, but you're seeing really robust activity right now in the U.S. on solar panel manufacturing from
in the
U.S.
US
companies. Yes,
okay.
Yes, including my members. And
okay.
I think you're going to see a trend over the coming years. We're going to see a lot more U.S. Made panels work their way onto the grid. In fact, I think there are 3 facilities that have done a ribbon cutting this year. I'm actually going to one in Houston next week. American company, I think with 2 gigawatts of solar panel manufacturing capability.
Yeah. So I know you see the panels. You
Yep.
see the frame that holds them up.
Yep.
What other components are there out there? Anything that?
So you've got control systems, you have inverters to, get the electricity from the panels grid ready. You have some transmission assets on site.
Transmission assets?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, to connect to the grid.
And are we aware, would you have any knowledge of who predominantly produces those transmission items and so forth?
Don't have those numbers in front of me, but again,
okay.
we can chase that down and we will get that to you.
Again, I'm just curiosity.
Sure.
You hear about the wind turbines and so forth that had all those communication components on that states are now actively working to remove. And I just out of a base of knowledge, when you're looking at especially the amount of terrain that is being purchased, oh, by the way, very close to our new Samsung plant that's going in, and of course, vicinity of some Bitcoin-related industry, and just on and on and on and on. It would be interesting to understand. And then, I'd kind of be interested if those components are, produced foreign, are they subsidized by the federal government in any means?
Good question. Again, we will chase down as much data as we can for you on that.
Thank you.